Have you ever held back your voice? Like you knew it was there, but something kept you from fully letting it out? In this episode, I'm talking with Tracy Solarek. And this conversation is all about stepping into your voice, even when it feels uncomfortable. Tracy is a classically trained singer who's now pushing herself into new territory: pop music, open mics, new audiences, and all the nerves that come with that. And we talk about that edge, that moment where you're not quite ready, but you do it anyway. How singing and performing isn't just about hitting the right notes. It's about connection. It's about emotion, about letting people feel something through you. And one of my favorite parts, how she's using her voice not just on stage, but in her work to create deeper, more human experiences. If you've ever doubted your voice or kept yourself playing small, this one might just give you the courage to be heard. Let's wake up your voice. What a day it is. The best day ever. I am here today with Tracy Solarek, and I am very happy to have you on the show finally, Tracy. I feel like we've been talking about it for quite a while, and the day is here, and it's made it the best day ever. So without further ado, tell us about you. Ooh, that rhymed. And what you do for work and as a speaker and your form of artistry.
My gosh, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I've been following you along, and I just love how we met through my high school friend. And here we are now sharing a podcast together. So thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. And shout out to that high school friend who's like a family member to me. Therese Owen, we love you. Thank you for this connection. Yes.
A little bit about me. I went to Marist College for a year under a music scholarship, and I was so honored to be in a competing choir for that full year. And we sang a lot, and I got to go to some really cool places. One that really stands out is singing at St. Pat's Cathedral in New York City. That was just incredible. I just loved the tour with the going downstairs and the tunnels. It was so neat.
Recently, wait, did you say competing choir?
Yes.
I want to hear more about that in a second, but just recently I saw a TikTok or something. It was like Secret New York, and I guess there's a secret restroom in one of the confessionals at that cathedral.
Okay, I don't remember that, but that was a couple years ago.
You have to know it's secret.
Good secret.
You think it's a confessional, but you open it and it's a restroom, and it's like hiding there in that whole area, which
that is so
like
funny.
I'm determined I'm going to go to New York City and find it here in the next few months.
All right.
Anyway.
And it won't be a secret.
And then it will. Yeah, I know. No more.
So with the competing choirs, there were about 20 of us in our choir. We had different levels of the men sang, and then the women, and then we had this quartet. They were really incredible. So it was really neat to just go on a weekend and compete. And we did pretty well. And I'm really grateful to have that opportunity, to have that vocal opportunity.
That's so cool.
I didn't end up staying at Marist. I graduated from Siena College in Albany, New York, which is what brought me here. So I'm just south of Saratoga Springs, grew up in Rochester, and through my time, I've always done some theater here and there, and I still sing now. So I actually open up my keynotes with a song. Do you want to hear it?
I love that so much. And I love whenever you post clips. I'm like, oh, there she is. I'm going to hear it. And so you're opening to your keynote because you're also a speaker. Is a song. How long is it? Did I just recently see a clip of that too?
You did see a clip of it. It's just a few phrases. And the reason I do it is, one, I'm blessed with this talent. So why wouldn't I do that? Use it. And actually, my brother-in-law is the one that said, why aren't you singing in your keynotes? I'm like, that's a great one. That will make me stand out.
Yes.
So I typically come from the back of the room because people expect a keynote to come from the side stage. And when I come in the back of the room, it goes something like this. You've got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. And people look around, they're like, what is happening?
And also, that's the song that you're singing too. Can we love Carole? It's Carole King.
Yeah, it is Carole King.
Can we love her anymore?
I love Carole King. It fits my voice.
Yeah.
And it really ties to my keynotes because as an emotional intelligence expert and one that's certified in emotional intelligence, it's all how you show up.
Yeah.
That's life. It's how you show up.
And her
So,
story too. Have you seen Beautiful more how many times have you seen it?
seeing what?
Beautiful, the Broadway production of Beautiful, Carole King's story.
My gosh, never.
God, you gotta see it because her whole story and just what you just said about how she still shows up, she did not have it easy, and it's cool. She
All
is
right.
unbelievable. I've seen the show more than once because I'm obsessed with her, that performance, that whole story, anyway.
My gosh, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to, I will, not I have to, I will take heed and figure out where I can see her. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I know, that's so great. We'll have to watch for maybe we'll come back through Rochester again or somewhere near you, and then I'll be like,
Or
"Tracy,
to
we're
me,
going."
yeah. Go together. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That's so great. I try to sing in my keynotes, but I'm not a singer, so I just try little things here and there. I'm a singer in the shower and a pretend karaoke person. I'm terrible at karaoke, which everyone says you're supposed to be, but I wish I was a singer. I really do.
You know what's funny is people like, oh, Tracy, you do karaoke all the time. I don't.
Yeah, no,
It
you actually just sing.
frightens me.
Yeah,
If
that's
you were to
hard.
say to me, "Hey, Tracy, can you just belt out the Ave Maria?" I'm like, "No problem. I got that down because that's my classical training." But if you were to say to me, "Will you sing Cry Me a River?" I'll be like, "Oh, I don't know. I have to rehearse that. I need to really buckle down." And that is one of my goals for 2026 is to be a lounge singer, to have a set that I've selected music and sing. And my goal right now, some people may laugh, but I'm going to start at like nursing homes. They don't
Yeah.
even have to pay me. I just want to go in and have an audience and practice and have my set. And up in Saratoga, have you ever been to Saratoga?
No, I haven't yet, but
Okay.
I do need to. I think it's a really neat place. I know it is. We've certainly driven that way on our way down to other places, but I haven't spent any time. I need to.
So when you do, we'll go together. So in Saratoga, there's a lot of places where they have live music, and I'm fortunate enough that someone will say, "Oh, Tracy, will you come up and sing?" So I have a few songs that are my go-to. I just want my own set list. So
I see.
the singing is that's on my list for 2026. I will
Because it's
reach that
easier for
goal.
you to bust out classical than it would be like a lounge set that the audience could sing along with you.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. I get so nervous. So this Thursday, I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone and I'm singing an open mic.
Wow. Wow. I love that. That's so interesting to hear that you're nervous to do that.
Hmm. Very.
I
Because
love
I don't know what I'm singing yet, but I haven't, and it's the practice, it's the change in my voice, like even singing the Carole King, that's a singing from a different part than classical singing. So it's like what you have to do is unlearn. I have to unlearn my classical training because when you're singing pop music, you sing differently.
There's a number of famous pop singers that are classically trained, like Cyndi Lauper came to mind as soon as you said that,
Mhm.
and, obviously, Freddie Mercury,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so they are known for, I guess, changing. None of us know, like, the regular people like me, I don't know what the change is, but I've just heard people talk about this before because it's a different you mentioned it comes from a different place.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even mentally, it comes in a different place. When I'm singing the Carol King, I'm singing really deep, my deeper voice, how I form my mouth. There's all different techniques.
Are you
Like when I'm singing classically, it's like, it's more with my mouth and how the position of it.
okay. Wow. Are you a soprano, alto? What are you? Mezzo?
A
Are you a
mezzo
mezzo
soprano.
soprano? What is the difference between what's a mezzo soprano versus a soprano?
Soprano is singing those high, high, high notes that you think are the stained glass is going to break in the church.
The Mariah Carey.
Yes, 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 Celine Dion, absolutely. I'm fortunate I have a very wide range, so I'm definitely singing lower than I have in the past, and maybe that's through vocal training and using my voice.
Yeah, and so the mezzo is lower than the soprano.
Mhm,
Got it.
mhm,
I think, it's
yeah.
Katy Perry who's a mezzo soprano. I think I read that
Yes, she
someplace.
is.
It's where I heard
Yes.
of mezzo to begin with.
So when I sing in my choir in Albany, gosh, we get, probably 6 different harmonies. Like, I'm just quickly going in my head. It could even be 7 at times, and it is gorgeous.
So beautiful.
Gorgeous,
What's
yes. And we
better
were
than harmonized singing?
I love it. And it's interesting. Our choir director will say, someday you have to go out and listen to it because when you're in a choir of 90 people and I'm singing my mezzo soprano part, that's all I'm focused on.
Yeah.
I don't hear all of the other harmonies unless I'm listening to a recording, which is fine, but we don't have like top-notch recordings. So,
Right. It's going to be
yeah.
so hard to do that. I always wonder about the people, especially that are harmonizing, because they're not like, it's the melody that most of, like me, like I hear the melody and I sing along with the melody, but there's so much that's coming in to support that and give it all that body. And it seems so interesting to me, the people who can harmonize and that are doing things and not saying the full sentences sometimes, and they're going in. I don't know how you even do that. It's incredible to me.
Do you read music at all?
I do not.
Okay, so that's
Why?
when someone said to me, "Oh, you read music." I'm like, "Well, of course I do." Like, so that tells you when you're coming in, what notes you're singing, and the rest, like all of it. And I believe I take it for granted that I know how to read music.
I mean, that's how
And
you
I don't call myself an expert in reading music. I don't.
But you could just read it and you're like, I know that note. I'm going to bring that note out of my body.
Or it's more, I know when I need to come in. I know when I need to rest. Like if someone says, sing a C, my mom thinks I can do that. I don't know why. I must have tricked her along the way. But I can't just be like, sing a C, sing an A. If I worked on it, I could.
That's amazing. Because a lot of singers, they do that. Like they're like, let's do this in C. And sometimes I say that as a joke, as if I know, because completely clueless, have no idea.
Well, when they say, let's sing this in C, they're talking about singing it in the key of C.
I know, but I have no idea.
Versus let's say sing the C note. I'm like, whatever.
Well, honestly, if I were to ever say, let's sing this in C, I don't know what C sounds like. Just to pretend that I know what I'm talking about. But another reason that you and I met, besides our wonderful friend, Tracy, is because we're both speakers. And I know that you've been on a really cool speaker journey. We both went to heroic public speaking, had wonderful experiences there, and lots of challenging things we learned together as well, right? We weren't there together at the same time, but we were part of the same type of experience. But tell us about your speaking business and what you've been doing, especially with that keynote that opens with Carole King.
So that's such a great question. With my experience with heroic, when you're even just sitting back and watching others, it's incredible how much you learn. So I was never called up on stage, but when people were called up on stage, I watched every single movement. I heard the instructors give them advice. And it was at that moment that I was like, oh, I'm going to start my keynotes with imagine. And when we speak that we can't be rambling. So I'd say, imagine if you were driving to work and that you were going to a place where you felt seen, heard, and valued. And that gets a great reaction too. I didn't start my business with speaking. I've always done training with my career. So I was 25 years in marketing, and it was September of 2019. And I saw HR, my boss, come walking to my office, and I went, oh, this isn't good. And I realized that was my last day. It's gosh, to feel like I stole things or something, I was just escorted out and we'll pack your things up for you. And that was 1 month before my wedding.
Oh.
So that always gets that reaction when I start my keynote, because no one wants to read a slide on who's Tracy Solarek, her credentials. So I tell a story. I start at this end of the stage, and then I say I was in marketing for 25 years, and then I continue down my path. And then I pause and I kind of crouch down a little bit and I say, it took me a little bit of time, but I realized things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And I let that sink in because that's what happened to me. That marketing has shifted so much from when I started way back when we didn't have the internet or email to where we are today. And I needed to pivot. I just didn't know what it was. And I did my research and decided I wanted to be an emotional intelligence trainer, a coach. And so I took a certification through MHS. They're based in Canada. Their number one client is our military. So they have an assessment, and it's not something I created in my garage. It's 35 years solid assessment. And when people take it, what they do is they identify their EQ. So you have your IQ, that's your technical ability, gets you the job. You have your EQ, which identifies your soft skills. And where do you fall in all of these different areas? Everything from your self actualization to your flexibility to your impulse control. And so a person can see their score. And from there, of course, we hone in on their strengths. What are you doing well? Does this resonate with you? And then through coaching, then we get to what are some areas of opportunity? Maybe these are skills you're not using right now. So I started with coaching, created a leadership roadmap package. I was so excited that I went to Naples, Florida in the dead of winter from New York. And I did a workshop for 35 people and gave them the overview. Here's emotional intelligence. And then each person went through the leadership roadmap, which is you get your assessment, your 30-page customized report, and 4 coaching sessions. And I love doing the coaching. I love the one-on-one. I think about all the folks I've coached throughout my career. And then I posted something on Facebook about my business. So, gosh, probably 2 years in. And it was someone from college that said, we need a keynote for our event and you would be perfect. I was like, me? I haven't done a keynote before. And it was the fact that somebody believed in me.
Yeah.
And she knew my personality way back at Siena College and saw what I was doing and said, I want to hire you. And that was my springboard.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
It's just beautiful. Like somebody believing in you. You know, it was 5 years ago that one of the ATD chapters, ATD Central Ohio, shout out to the team there. They said, it was a similar story. They said, we want you to keynote. And I'm like, me? A keynote? I'm a trainer. I do workshops.
Right, right.
No, you're the keynote. And I'm like, okay. So I did that. And that was the very first time I did that. And having somebody believe in me that way, it kind of launched everything from there. And you know what's so cool? 5 years ago, I was their keynote and they've invited me back this year. And I can't wait I got to do something like, this is all your fault. You know?
Yeah, exactly. But what an honor, right? To have somebody believe in you. And I think it's so important to circle back and to thank those mentors. And I actually just called a mentor. I was driving back from a keynote in Niagara Falls and I was driving and I was like, I drove through Rochester or by Rochester. And I was like, I am going to call up Gail. And I called her up. She's like, Tracy. And I said, Gail, I need to thank you for believing in me.
Yeah.
You were one of my strongest mentors. And you probably didn't even know what you were teaching me. It was through your leadership. And she was like, wow. So I think it's important
to someone to do that, to take the time to let other people know how they are impacting you. You know, actually, Tracy, I love that. That's high EQ right there, actually.
Yeah.
It's a thing that I've been practicing the last, for many years, actually, because I was having like a confidence problem earlier in my career when people would give me a compliment. A lot of times I would be like, oh, no big deal. And I would like downplay it, but then I would end up feeling badly afterwards, like, well, why did I downplay myself? And what helped me get out of that awful rut that I was in was to think about what it took for them to take the time to tell me and to share with me. And as soon as I can flip it to that and then say to them, you know what? Thank you. I could honestly say thank you for the compliment. And then what helped me to go further with it and what I still do to this day is to say, and I just want to thank you for taking the time to share with me because it's really impacting my life. Knowing specifics about how that impacted you. And so for you to take the time to share it with me, thank you. And it helped me get out of that, like, oh, it's no big deal.
Right.
Because that's not
and honoring it by saying thank you. Whatever, a lot of times people will compliment, oh, I like your sweater. Well, I got it on sale at the so-and-so. And so just say thank you.
Just say
and thank you. And I like how you take it a step further. Thank you for taking the time to compliment me, to say those kind words.
Yeah. It means something to me that they took the time to put together that message. It really does mean something. And, and then what that does too, because here's another cool thing, because, a thank you is nice, but if you can get more out of it without being like a weirdo, what ends up happening is I could be like, thank you for taking the time to come up to me and share that with me. It opens the door for, so where has it played out, or what have you done with it? I'm super curious, or whatever. And then I can get even more data,
right.
Which then I can start to use for myself. Cause I'm like every other person where I'm like, wake up with days of I'm not good enough or shoulda, woulda, coulda. But it's like keeping track and remembering those things that people have said can help fight that ridiculous thought pattern that can happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the things that I include in my speaking is I say, raise a hand. How many people are just so exhausted from all the accolades they're receiving at work? And no, that's exactly what people do. They just laugh.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what would it look like if you did receive some type of praise? And how often are you giving kudos to your team? Not just like, good job, Sally, for taking the slack on the XYZ. You need a little bit of detail. So it's actually, pardon me?
You and I both have a Dale Carnegie background too.
We do.
So we're talking about some of these, what do they call it? Strength-centered feedback.
Yeah, it's just so important to understand how do people like to be recognized. Yeah, and just give them the why. So
yes,
I do.
It goes so much further too, and it's not hard to do once you clue into it. You're like, even at a restaurant. If I'm at a restaurant and the service is amazing, I might be like, "Thank you, your service tonight. You were on top of it. You had my drink refilled before I even knew I needed it." Like, I'll say something like that.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was out to lunch and I said, "Is the manager around?"
Yeah.
Right away, what do people go to? The negative.
I'm in trouble.
Oh boy, and he came over and you could even say his. I was reading his posture. I said, "I just need to tell you, this is the best fish tacos I've ever had. Keep doing what you're doing." Our server Jordan was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And gave him the reasons why, right? Very attentive, but yet he let us sit back and just catch up as old friends like to do. And I do that more often than not. Thank you so much for your service. If I'm on a phone with whatever, and I said, because you're manager, I want to give you some accolades. Yeah. We need that. Are you kidding me? Everybody needs it.
We need it. And here's the thing too. I also think that it's on me to figure out how to make the most of a situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if I'm not super happy with like a class that I took, like maybe it didn't resonate, or maybe it just wasn't that great. But really, am I going to choose to not learn a single thing? Is that going to be who I am?
Right.
And
exactly.
Am I going to go further and complain about the person?
Mm-hmm.
No, because when you start to look for what you can learn, guess what? You learn.
You learn. There's a lot we can learn. Always learning.
You see what people did to help that. And then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I really truly believe people are just doing their damn best. They're
absolutely
just doing their best. And if they're not, it's still not on me to be the judge and jury about that. Because who knows why they're not that day.
Right.
Who knows?
Give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
And that happens a lot in my coaching when people are really frustrated. And I'll just say, so do you know, what if you were to look at that person and just accept them for where they are today? And it just like helps them switch their thinking, right? Because we all want to show up and put our best foot forward, and we all have bad days, right? Or moments. Maybe it's not a bad day. We have some bad moments.
And then, like when you end up doing that, and even in those moments with somebody who might not be showing up as their best, but when you give them the benefit of the doubt, I think they notice.
Right.
And they change.
I'm meeting you where you are today. Here's where you are.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And even if they don't, you've placed your own boundary and you've decided how you're going to be and not like carried it on. And so it's very, very powerful technique and way to live life, actually.
Have you ever heard of the Smile Challenge?
What is that?
I don't know where I heard it, but it's very simple, and it's smiling at strangers 5 a day. So maybe you go and I go to a post office box to get my mail, and just to smile at a neighbor that I don't even know their first name. And it's interesting to see who will smile back or if they'll look down. But it's just make the world a better place by just sharing a smile.
It's
Getting
so
on and off
simple.
an elevator, just smile, say good morning. It's not going to kill
We
you.
have gotten
right?
away from it since the mask days. Remember?
Yes, we have.
We have gotten away from it. And, I have not heard of that. But however, I grew up mostly on the West Coast in California, BC, Vancouver. And also my family, they are from West Virginia. They're sort of like Southern. So I think culturally, where I have grown up and who my family is, there might be the let's not smile as much challenge.
Okay.
And also I lived in Canada for 9 years. And so it's like,
Okay.
There's this.
That's
so
fair.
when I moved to New York, I was very nervous. I'm like, what? I remember my first month in New York, I was like, okay, what did you just say? And why are you so mean? These are my two things. Like,
okay.
I kind of get over it. And then I realized, wait a second, this is fine. I should have been born in New York. I do like wearing black and I do want people to get out of my way. It's fine.
It's funny. When I say I'm from New York, people automatically assume I'm from Manhattan.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm 200 miles from Manhattan.
Same.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
go to New York City for a day trip, see a show, come back home. I love the close vicinity, but I do not live in Manhattan. I live at the foothills of the Adirondack Mountains.
Yep. I love it. I know. For me, I can't even go do the show if I want to. I'm so it's too hard. I got to fly the plane or drive 7 hours.
Right.
But yeah, everyone just assumes. And even when you tell them, no, I'm basically like Canada. I'm all the way up. They're like, wow, it just must be so cool to live in New York. It just goes right.
No, they're still like, yeah. No.
The whole thing.
I live in a very small village in Round Lake, New York. It's Victorian. It's so quaint. I do not live in New York City.
Yeah. My first year in New York, I did live in New York City. And then I came out to Rochester, and it's my preferred place to live, actually.
Well, and as you know, I grew up in Rochester.
I know. It's a connection that you and I have.
But the outskirts of Rochester. So I grew up across the street from a dairy farm.
Where did you grow up exactly? What part?
West Walworth.
Oh, in Walworth. Yeah, my husband's from, he didn't grow up in Caledonia, but in that area. Caledonia, a little bit. He's told me 1,000 times, and it always goes.
That's all right.
Wheatland.
I don't know where Wheatland is.
Small,
there you go. I don't know where that is.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Well, do you find, I know that, I'm so surprised to hear that you're just now singing in your keynote. I would have just assumed that you opened, because I know you as a vocalist. I don't know why. I think I learned that the first time I met you, and I was like, I love this so much. So I'm so interested in how you hadn't thought to bring it to your keynotes, and what changed for you. I know you said your brother-in-law asked you.
Yeah, he said, Tracy, why aren't you singing in your keynotes? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know why. And then that song just came to me. So I tested it out when I was at a women's retreat, and there was 10 of us at the retreat. So shout out to Denise Horan, who facilitates these amazing retreats. And I just tried it out during my session, and they were like, oh my gosh, that's phenomenal. So now what I need to do is shake it up a little bit, and maybe not just include it in the opening to catch people off guard, but to do it in the middle or some other part of it. I haven't gotten that far yet.
That is so cool.
When you give a keynote, you're there to motivate and to give information. And of course, we want people to at least have one takeaway. I always want them to have more than one. But I like the fact that it separates me from other speakers.
Yeah, you can fill it in with that. What do you think the hesitancy is or was? Like, why isn't it, do you think, one of the first things you thought of doing as a speaker? Like, what is it that keeps our...
I guess to keep them, I just kept it separate. Like, it's one thing if I'm...
do this? Why do we artistic people think that we shouldn't bring the art into the work? Because this is really the whole basis for my podcast, right? So,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Why don't we bring... it's interesting. I do bring my prep. So the warm up of the voice, I bring that into the professional space. Mm-hmm. So I have these drills that I do. And oftentimes it's not even before a keynote. It's just I inherently just wake up and think about what exercises do I need for my voice? Am I drinking enough water? And, when you're ill, everyone's like, drink your tea. I'm like, tea is very drying. Don't drink tea. So that is a really good point. Vocally, I prep myself, but it doesn't have to be just because of a keynote. It's just how I treat my voice.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Why don't we bring in our artistry? Like, why isn't that second nature?
I think personally that it's because we see art as fun and play. And we have to sort of switch our brains into serious business.
Well, I'll say this. I bring in my performance techniques. Not that I've had one acting class in my life, but definitely tying in performance into speaking, because to me, that's what it is. It's a performance. You have to be like in your space before you go on. You need to know your lines, know your next steps, even how you're using your body as we've both been trained, right? The intonations of your voice. That I bring in. And I don't know about you when you speak, I am exhausted. The next day I can barely even I can barely move.
Yeah.
But I remember I gave a keynote and it was local. It was up in Saratoga. And so 20 minutes away. And I came home and then I had 3 coaching clients. At the end of that day, I was like, I'm done. I was like, now I know, don't ever plan anything after a keynote. You're just exhausted.
Exhausted.
Do you find that?
Yes, although increasingly less so, because I have really leaned into what turns out is that there's an athlete inside of me. And so I now am a gym rat. I live at the gym and have really leaned into the physicality and what it takes for your body to sustain that level of performance. And so I am in the gym as much as I possibly can. And I'm finding it's making a really big difference on how I feel. Because I actually suffer migraines too. And so the migraines would get me because of all of the cortisol and the rush of the energy that happens. And so the gym has been saving my life in a lot of different ways.
So that's interesting to say that because I enjoy the gym. I wouldn't call myself a gym rat, but I like to go to the gym. I exercise. And for me, it's the mental exhaustion.
Yeah.
It's that my brain can't fit one more thing in it. And that's what I mean. Like when I coach those 3 clients, I was like, okay, that's not a do again. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't plan that on the keynote day either.
What the heck I was thinking. But yeah, definitely being lean and being fit, like to do a spin class, keep your
it's the physicality and what it takes so that you can manage the mental better through in the same reason you warm up your vocal cords and your body so that you can perform that. It's the speaking side of it, which that's another part of Heroic that I know you must have loved. That was one of my favorite parts, how much they put an emphasis on warming up the voice and the body to be on stage.
I actually printed that out and I carry it with me. Yeah, before a keynote, I go through all of those different steps.
All the ones they gave us. I know. Yes. A couple of those, I'm bad at. The in the inside breathing that you hold the breath. I still can't really do it. It's so weird.
So that's a vocal setup or
head voice. So to me that's head voice or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like using your diaphragm so that
it'll come. It's always hard for me.
Keep practicing.
You know the way I would practice. I know you have a cat too, don't you?
I have 3 dogs.
You have doggies. Okay. I don't do that. But I call my cat around the house. I'm like, Key. And it's like, Key. Do you remember Amy doing that?
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And then Key comes running, Kitty.
That's cute. Yeah. That's cute. Yeah, it's funny. I was warming up my voice before a keynote and I left my hotel room and shut the door. And then these 3 women were walking and they're like, I said, good morning. And I asked if they were from the event and they said yes. And I said, oh, I'm your keynote for this morning. And they're like all excited. I said, I hope you didn't just hear me warming up. They're like, no, I didn't hear it. But like you do get a little self-conscious when you're warming up in a hotel room, right?
Yeah. Oh, I do. I get self-conscious a lot for a lot of reasons and you name it. But it's like for ridiculous reasons. But last night I was at an event and I was the speaker coach and I was telling them, I go, let's warm up, and they were like, no, they were really embarrassed and they wouldn't do it.
Really?
Yeah. They're new speakers, they're students. And so it's a different kind of setting, but they wouldn't do it. And I kept doing it anyway, but they wouldn't follow me. They were too embarrassed. They're young,
Okay. Interesting.
Very interesting. I know. And you push certain things, so I didn't really push it, but yeah.
That's interesting.
Tracy, what can you teach us? I know you talked about having something cool planned for us. I feel like the whole thing has taught us something, but did you have something?
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's one of those things when I have way too many thoughts coming at me. And that just happens, I believe, for all of us. Some people are really good at just putting their thoughts in different Tupperwares. I'm not good at that. So when I have like a lot coming at me and I'm even just trying to have small talk with somebody and I'm thinking about a gazillion other things, here's my tip. So you cross your arms. It's almost like you feel like you're giving yourself a little hug and just tap your fingers and close your eyes. Breathe in and breathe out. How does that make you feel?
It's great. It's just what I needed.
And define great. What does that mean?
Calm down. It helped me focus and it helped me center and I felt ready to go.
Right. Exactly. It brings you back to the present.
And it was like 10 seconds.
Exactly. But I think part of it is like giving yourself that little hug. It's something if maybe you're at a conference and you just have so many things going on in your mind, you're in the workplace and that you just go to the restroom and shut that door and you just give yourself a little hug.
Oh, it's very
Works.
Nice. Like combined with the touch.
The tapping, right? Because that's something we've learned, right? The tapping and relaxing our jaw and our neck before any type of keynote. But that's my little tip. I hope people find it helpful.
I love it. And I also just love the idea of just taking care of yourself with an actual hug and wrapping your arms around yourself.
Yes.
Just the feeling of that and the idea of that is beautiful. There is no better way to spend an afternoon than speaking with you, Tracy. It was absolutely lovely. Where can we learn more about you and find out what you are up to next?
All right. Well, you can find me at optimumpotential.com. And I'm going to spell it for you because it's optimum with a Y, OPTYMUM, potential.com. And for speaking, if that's easier, you can also find me at tracysolarek.com. So obviously my name is below my screen. So tracysolarek.com brings you to my speaker page. I'm on LinkedIn, little Instagram. And I just really thank you for this opportunity. I felt very much at ease and just myself. And I really think it is so unique that you're pulling in people's artistry into their professionalism. Because of you, I will be doing even more of that. Like, what more can I put into my keynotes, my workshops? That I really think it's so unique. I haven't heard anyone else do that. So kudos to you.
Well, thank you. I just know the coolest people.
Yes, you do.
I want to talk to them and learn from them and just enjoy all of the beautiful artistic and athletic things that people are bringing into the spaces, and I do think we don't always think we should or could. And you know what? I think we're doing it without even realizing it. So let's just talk about it, man. Let's take it big and let's let the whole world know about it.
Exactly.
Be our unique selves in whatever way we show up, I love it.
I love it too.
Thank you so much for sharing your artistry with us today. And thank you. I was going to ask you to sing and you just did it. It was excellent. Of course you did.
Well, now I love that you said, well, what else are you going to do? How else are you going to incorporate it into my keynotes? And thank you for that that push, if you will. I'm taking that one. I'm picking up what you're putting down, and I'm like, I got that. I will do more.
Thank you, Tracy. It's been wonderful.
Thank you. Have a great one. Bye.
That's your spark. Now go light something up. And hey, if this episode lit you up, share it with a friend, a fellow facilitator, or someone who needs a little more connection in their day. Be sure to follow the Spark Konnect so you don't miss what's next. We've got more brilliant voices, bold ideas, and heart-forward conversations coming your way. Until then, stay curious, stay brave, and keep showing up.